Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another podcast. This time the podcast, you have Naklecha. So, welcome to the podcast, Nishant.
Hi, what's up?
So the thing we do on the podcast is we let the guests introduce themselves because I'm typically bad at introductions. So, who is Naklecha? What does he do? What has he built so far?
Okay, thank you. And thanks for having me on the podcast. My name is Nishant, and I'll start off with my bachelor story. So I started off doing my bachelor's in Bangalore in computer science, and then I worked for 2 years in Morgan Stanley, and now I'm doing my master's in AI at TU Delft in Netherlands. And pretty much I spend like all my free time, nights and weekends, everything, building projects and like playing around with like new technology. And yeah, that I guess like in short, that's like my summary. Um, what
Very
I do.
interesting. Okay, so as you just said, nights and weekends, right? So you recently won nights and weekends season 4. Talk me to that. How's that like? And what project you built? And because this podcast will be centered around stock music,
Yeah.
because that's something which really intrigues me. Because music and AI is a confluence which I never thought. I mean, I kind of predicted it would exist, but I never thought it would be so quick and it'll be so good. So, how was season 4? How did you go about it?
Yeah, so my nights and weekends season four like project idea initially
Mm-hmm.
was that I want to just create like a list of like banger
Mm-hmm.
AI music, like just like maybe 10 songs and see if people
Mm-hmm.
actually like it. So I started like making these videos on like Twitter, like with putting like these anime background and like text over it saying stock music. And my website's called stockmusic.app. So I wanted to see how many people like converge to the website. And I started just
Mm-hmm.
posting these videos and like compared to my normal tweets, like these were doing like more likes. So then I was like, maybe this actually has some merit. So like I should like start like making like more songs. So I made like 50 songs,
Mm-hmm.
posted it on like a website, and like I launched on Twitter. And like launching is basically I just told people a link, like told
Yeah.
people to try it out. And yeah, like 100 people went on the wait list and stuff. So like
Hmm.
at that point I knew I was um like at least I had like some traction.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I should like ask people what they want. Yeah, so like it started from there. And like I think like stock music, like making music from AI is like so cheap. I thought it's like an interesting idea because like if you look at current companies like Epidemic Sound,
Mm-hmm.
they like they make like they have like so many songs on the website, but there's an actual human that made that song. And if you
Yeah.
think about like per song, it's so expensive to
Yeah.
make like the song. And like now I can make like a song with like 30 cents or like 50 cents. So it's so cheap and like yeah, I mean, I thought it's a good
Mm-hmm.
idea. So
Okay.
that's how it
So,
started.
got it. So, I've like a weird theoretical question about this, right? So, like at least 2 years ago, I used to think adding AIs and automations in music would be easier because music is just a bunch of patterns at the end of the day. So, is it because of that? Like, do you need less amount of training data because there's already so many patterns already existing? So, for the algorithm to work, do you think is that why building making AI music is cheap? Like is that why, or is it something to do with something else?
So it is cheap because like it's not about like the algorithm more. It's more of like the model only takes this much time to run. Um,
Okay.
and but I think it was not like predefined patterns. It's more like trained on so much
Hmm.
music that it's just learned how to make music, and it
Hmm.
uses the same like concept as like how ChatGPT works, but instead of like using text, it uses like music. Like it
Hmm.
replaces like the text hello with like a musical note, and like it learns the language of music across like so many songs, like millions of songs. So
Hmm.
yeah, it just learns through like examples, not so much like patterns, but it still takes only
Got it.
like 60 seconds to generate like 30 seconds of a song. So that's super cheap if you think about it. Like it'll take like so many days for someone to generate a song usually. So
Interesting. What is it to do with AI music? Because in the past like 2 3 months, I've seen an outbreak of like AI music tools, right? Even Arab had his own thing which blew up.
yeah,
Even you have your own thing which blew. Why is that? So why is suddenly AI music generators just popping off? What's the reason?
I think it's like so with other stuff you've sort of seen examples before, but I think with music
Mm-hmm.
people didn't expect it, and also like it's so useful. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
like a music producer and you need like it's almost like autocomplete, right? Like you give your
Yeah.
current sample and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually extend the song. And that's like so useful because like it keeps the style, it keeps everything about your song that you wanted initially, but it's like autocomplete and like you couldn't do that before. And like
Mm-hmm.
there's like new things that are making it so much easier for like new people to enter. Like if you thought about like I always wanted to make a song, but I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
make beats. Like I just know how to mix them. Like
Mm-hmm.
now you can just generate like beats and like make your own song. It's like there's new people coming in. There's like a lot of like new use case that didn't exist before. So I think it's bound to blow up pretty much.
Interesting. So, what is your approach while building stock music? Like, how did you go about it? Was it like the classic build space way where you tried your best to build like the most shittiest V1 in the first week and then try to iterate on it, or
Yeah.
was it something different? Was that?
Yeah, so like my V1, like as I mentioned, like actually it was like not even a website, it was just that
Yeah.
video. So if people
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
like the video, I would have just scrapped the idea.
Got
So
it.
like I think it's like easier to like make like V1s where you don't even have to like code. So like for that I just
Hmm.
like made the video, made the song, put it out and it worked. And then like I made like the website and in my waitlist I also have like a section for people to ask questions or like request for features. I just take like the most commonly asked feature. It's like the most commonly asked feature for me was people want to generate their own songs.
Yeah.
So I built that
Huh.
feature as well. And like it's like easier for me because like I don't have to think of like what people want. They just tell. So I think it's pretty useful to like launch
Hmm.
early without like thinking like, oh, maybe people want this feature, and like keep making more and more features. Like you just launch like I launched like
Hmm.
this just a list of songs. People said I want this, then you just make that. You don't have to like think about what to make. So
Very interesting.
I think it's
What do you think
pretty
about
built
yeah,
space.
yeah. Got it. What do you think about
Yeah.
the waitlist approach though? Because I've seen a lot of people shit on it. Like people don't like the waitlist approach because at the end of the day, like if you even if you have like
Yeah.
100 people on the waitlist and like no one ends up paying once the launch is done, like it doesn't make sense. So why did you adopt the waitlist approach? Like what made you think okay, waitlisting here makes sense, whereas for general projects it probably doesn't?
So for me at least, like it was two things. Like I didn't know what to
Hmm.
make, and
Hmm.
I also didn't know like how long it would take me to make it. So and I wanted to get something out. So I wanted like the website to like get some traction. So that's why I did this waitlist approach where I had a product. Like if you think about it, like I had a list of like 50 songs already on the
Huh.
website. Like people are constantly playing, downloading it. And then I had a waitlist saying um, join waitlist for more features. And like it doesn't
Hmm.
really mean anything. But if people click on that, like at least they liked the songs. And then if they fill the form, like it's more of an entry of barrier. And I think like that sort of at least proves that the initial product was nice. And then
Very
like
interesting.
maybe the waitlist approach doesn't work. Like people don't like know what they want. Like they can
Hmm.
request for a feature, but if you launch it, they won't pay for it.
Hmm.
But I think like if you don't have anything, like you might as well launch like the V1 with a waitlist saying more features coming, and then
Hmm.
but don't like. So I also launched like a waitlist without any features, and that got like 50 people to sign up. Like
Got it.
um, but like it was all useless. Like the people like probably didn't come back. So I think it's like useful to like have like a product and then launch like a waitlist along with it. So if you want like more time to build, basically.
Very interesting. So you've been like a regular at Build Space, right? I think you've probably been in every season. So talk me through that. Why do you think? So do you think Build Space is the single most entity which is forcing, not forcing, inducing a lot of builders to build and just like making the culture better? Like how was season one? How is it different from season four? Talk me through that.
Oh, I think it's so different. Like season one didn't have like it was like I don't remember what season one was, but in general, like the initial seasons were more like lecture, like you join like a class, like not like a class, but you
Hmm.
join like a Zoom, and then
Yeah.
like Farza or like some other team member like explains to you like a concept and like you sort of
Hmm.
understand it. And it was very similar to the one that we have now, where you launch like a product and like you sort of keep going iteratively. But I think like they haven't like told it publicly or like even to me like in general also. But I mean like what I've noticed is that they've gone more from like very focused on like money to like more
Okay.
focused on like just making things, which I personally
Huh.
like. So initially, like they only tracked users and they only tracked like revenue, but
Yeah.
now they've
Season 3
become
they
more
did that.
lenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now they've become more lenient. They're saying like, oh, just define what you
Huh.
want to track and give us a number. Um, and
Huh.
I think that's like it's like it's easier for like people to like track website visits, even though it actually is meaningless. Like,
Hmm.
if no one is like using your product, but at least it's like if the number goes up, like it trickles down to other metrics also. So I don't know. Like I think like being more lenient is like what they're going for. Like make what you want to do. Like you don't have to earn money from it, for example.
Interesting. How do you think
Okay.
Buildspace makes money though? Like, what do you think is there? What do you think they're looking at? Let's say 3 years down the line, how do you see Buildspace? Like, what do you think? What do you think will happen?
Wait, 3 years I feel like is too short for like a company like Buildspace. Like,
Okay.
maybe like 3 years down the line they do have like a vision, but I'm not sure what that would be. Like my guess would be like just like get way more number of people like to
Mm-hmm.
follow their passion. But like I think like in the long term, like
Mm-hmm.
like I think companies like Buildspace will like actually try to replace like the education system because if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, it's like actually pretty useless to go to college. At least in India, a lot of people go to college just like either
Mm-hmm.
have fun or like leave the country, like try living alone, like try living a new place and stuff. Like a lot of people like don't get that much value. Like you can sort of like Google or YouTube everything you need to know. So
Mm-hmm.
I think like schools like build space is like more useful. Like you actually learn like a
Mm-hmm.
life skill, and I think even like they can keep it free because um like like for example Harvard, Stanford, like they have like so much money like through donations and stuff. And I
Yeah.
think Build Space like can make revenue just by like the price that's come out of it. So the way I look at it, like I don't know for sure, but they have F Inc., which is their
Mm. Yeah.
investment fund,
Yeah.
and in a way, like it's sort of intertwined. Like
Mm-hmm.
Farza is like connected with like Furkan, like, and he's like
Furkan, yeah.
um also with other people like um in Founders Inc. that invest in other
Mm-hmm.
companies. The way I look at it is like Build Space makes like people follow their passions, like, and if they can scale to like 100,000 people follow their passions, there'll be so
Mm-hmm.
many like interesting companies coming out of it that they will invest in because they'll find first. And then also like
Mm-hmm.
um they also like pretty much like I feel like if I somehow make like $1 billion company like in 10
Mm-hmm.
years, I will donate like so much to like Build Space because like they made
Yeah.
me do that. And I think that like there'll be so many people that think that same way. I think that is
Mm-hmm.
like revenue, and also like I think they don't really care right now. Like their goal is to like make education free, and they'll do like
Mm-hmm.
whatever they can to make it happen. Like right now they're also government funded and stuff, if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Makes sense. So, are you going in IRL? Like SFIRL? No, no, no. This time it's
I'm going
in.
on Dubai
Yeah, it's in Dubai, right?
next
Okay,
week,
very interesting.
like in like 3 days or 4 days.
Is it in
Yeah,
3D? That's cool. What about like the on campus program that they have for 3 months? Have you thought about it?
I thought about like if I can get a visa. I'm not sure how it
Yeah.
works to go there, but
Hmm.
if I can get a visa, I would go for sure. Just because like I have like a lot of friends now through Bill Space, like
Hmm.
that are also done Bill Space in the past, and also like going to SF. I feel like is pretty important for me because I want to
Hmm.
meet like all these people that like build an SF, like be part of that culture and stuff for like 3 months. I think it would be
Hmm.
like it would if not life changing, at least it would be like super impactful to like um the place where I'm living right now. Like living like doing everything remote, I
Hmm.
think is like much harder. Like when you
Yeah.
have like friends in real life. So
Very interesting. So like I had to ask this question like before we started talking about build space, but just popped in my head, and I think it's a question which is good enough. So I think I should just interject and maybe
yeah,
ask it. So as you seem like a person who does care about art, and as you use a lot of artsy vocabulary as well, right? You use artsy and stuff. So how do you so what do you think about music production being like automated? Like as someone who cares about art and music being art, like
yeah.
how does it make you feel? Like earlier,
So
like a
actually,
person's, yeah, tell me.
yeah, I've thought about this question so much, like
Hmm.
not only for music, like just for like art in general, like images
Hmm.
and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I think like we shouldn't like stop to like make it like the way it was before, but I
Hmm.
think like there'll just be like new forms of art, and like new talent that can use like this technology to like make you experience things. Because for me, I feel like it's more about like the experience. So if like something can make me feel something, I don't care how it was made. Like the same way,
Hmm.
like making the music that we make right now 10 years ago, even like regular like EDM for example, like it
Hmm.
would be like so hard for someone to do. Just because it became easier doesn't make like it worse. It just makes it like open more pathways. And I think like um yeah, I'm excited for like new forms of like music. I've seen
Hmm.
like interesting Twitter like handles like try that. Like there's a handle called Dada Bots. Like he's trying to make like new kind of music, which makes you
Hmm.
feel things, but you never heard a human make that before. Like I think like it'll open like so many opportunities once it gets really good. And I personally don't think we should like stop any of it because um
Hmm.
yeah, like once like
Understood.
this becomes easy, there's like new things to try.
So don't you think art was something to do with scarcity, at least back in the day? Because good artists were so scarce. It made they were more
Yeah.
valuable. But now, like at least almost everybody can just make almost every form of art. How does that
Yeah,
make you
but
feel, though?
like so everyone can make the form of art that
Yeah,
we consider art now, but
yeah,
then there'll be like new artists that can like create things
huh,
that regular people can't. Like I feel like I think I've seen this example before, but like for
hmm,
example, wood carving. I mean,
hmm,
people still do it, but it's like so easy to do with like machines now. Like
hmm,
that, like it used to be considered like an art form. People used to put on
hmm,
temples, put on
hmm.
like
Makes sense.
sculptures and stuff. And now people be like, oh, you can just 3D print that. But like just because that like used to be art doesn't have to be art now. Like there can be other things that are called art. And I think you can like
Understood.
appreciate like the nostalgic feeling of like the past, where like oh this person created this. Right now it's so easy to do it, but like they did it when they
Hmm.
couldn't. Compare that to like now. I don't know. I find it like super exciting, like
Got
because
it. Because
yeah,
I've spoken about this to a couple of artists themselves, right? Okay, what do you think about this? Like, if you can just, even poets as well, like people who are like, who go to open mics and stuff like that. When I show them, okay, I can just write a poem this quick and make changes this quick, make iterations this quick. And they are furious. They hate what's happening, like, as artists
yeah.
themselves. And so, what do you think will art 2.0 look like? Like, art 2.0 in a couple of years? How do you think music will be? How do you think poetry will be? Is there a
So
significant change that we'll be noticing? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I think everything's just gonna move towards like experiences more than like skill. So like people used to like consume like I'm gonna call it trashy, but like just trashy like AI music, like just for like time pass, like just for coding or like dealing like just like hanging out, walking and stuff. But like
Yeah.
people would like really look forward to like going to like concerts or like looking at
Hmm.
like things in real life or things that are made by human beings, like
Hmm.
where you know that it's made by human, like it's like not possible by AI yet, for example. So like I
Hmm.
think people just like sought after like that kind of art more,
Hmm.
and like stuff that everyone can do, no one's like gonna care. But that's fine because then like you can sort of elevate like the bar goes even higher, I think, for like
Yeah.
good art.
Makes sense. So you're saying there'll be like an AI free experience will be some form of a novelty in the future. Like, okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think
So
like
yeah.
going to concerts and stuff will become like more common, for example. Like people want to
Hmm.
go and like experience things because that's new art, I think.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about NotPink now. But what is NotPink? What's your vision? Like, what do you want to do about?
Yeah, so NotPink is like I call it like my art studio, even though it's just me right now. It's like
And
my
also,
art
why
studio.
NotPink? Like, why the word NotPink?
Okay, so that has like a history with like when I started, I used to like start
Huh.
playing games and stuff in like like in 11th grade, 12th grade. Like I
Huh.
played like random games like CS:GO and stuff, and like my name
Hmm.
was always something with pink. Like it's like pink or like KNIP, which is like pink in
Huh.
reverse, or
Got
like
it.
a pink little cupcake. Like just like random things to do
Pink
with pink
little
for some
cupcake.
reason because I found it
Okay.
interesting.
Huh.
And then like whatever, and like I used to like be like only like gaming, only like doing like coding or like hanging out with friends
Hmm.
and stuff. So then I started considering all that as like pink, And then
Mm-hmm.
anything that like is new for me, I consider not pink. And that's how like this name started with like pink, not pink.
Got it.
Like it started with my
Got it.
gamer tags being all pink, and like now
Huh.
everything that like is not normal for like a computer science person to do is not pink for me. So
Not pink. That's very interesting. Okay, that's nice. So yeah, what about not pink? Like what's happening? Like what's the next season about?
yeah.
As you told me before the call, but yeah, just for the viewers, what experiences are you trying to build out for the people for the next
Yeah,
season?
so with Not Pink, like till now, I've been experimenting with like different projects, but like
Mm-hmm.
this year, I'm focused on like creating one or two like big projects, and I can give you examples and like
Mm-hmm.
multiple like small projects, just like keep the audience engaged. And it's like as I spoke before, like it's more like experience based art. So I think, like for example, I feel like a lot of people will start going from watching YouTube videos to watching live streams on Twitch because like it's more human. I think people will
Mm-hmm.
want some of that. I think that like that kind of audience that seeks like live things will grow. So with Not Pink also I'm looking at like projects where the audience gets to, like interact with the art. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the big projects I'm looking at this year is like having like a paintball machine that the Twitch chat can control and like shoot paintballs at like a
Mm-hmm.
canvas and like make art. So something that's like my like not pink big project, and like smaller
Mm-hmm.
projects is like random. Like I have like an Arduino with like sensors and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've done like people can monitor if I'm sitting on my table and studying or not. Like for example, like
Mm.
just using the ultrasonic sensor. Just like random fun projects that I think people like I think slowly start to appreciate more as like normal content becomes sort of like, oh, this might be AI, so like I don't feel like
Got it.
watching this kind of thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Something like let's say the paintball idea of yours, something like a can you can push out like a canvas for the stream or something like that, or maybe
Yeah,
the way the chat's general notion is, let's say they're using certain words more often than usual, and something to do with that, something, I don't know how to put it, but like based on the way the chat is interacting, you push out a canvas. Like even if it's AI
yeah,
generated, it's very specific to how these guys interacted. Like maybe
yeah.
if they used Paris way too much, you just push in an Eiffel Tower randomly, or something to do with an Eiffel Tower or something like that. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, like
Very interesting.
basically there's something that's
Yeah.
like live, like or there's like a very famous product like where the Twitch chat beat Pokemon, and it was like
Hmm.
crazy because like there's always like obviously some people that try and like screw up everyone else like by typing the
Hmm.
wrong like direction or something. So like but like eventually after like many hours like the Twitch chat like managed to win Pokemon like
Yeah.
completely by themselves. Like that's like a really cool project because it's like also it's like one of the famous like history books level project, but it's
Hmm.
also like the kind of project that I think people want more because if you're bored right now, like you could watch a YouTube video that's probably AI generated, or you could
Yeah.
watch like this live stream that's happening right now and like type and like alter like stuff that's going on the screen. I think that's
Yeah.
like more um, what
There's
people are
something
looking for
similar
now.
which I saw a couple of, I believe it has to be a year ago if I'm not wrong. So it's so the way it was like a chess streamer who was playing chess, and from their side they were making a move, and then based on the way you know how the PGN the system works, right? The three letters for like every move. So the chat will
Yeah,
just spit out their own move suggestion, and the one that gets the most amount of words, the frequency of the one that side that gets played on the board automatically, and that's
yeah,
how they played like an entire game for an hour, and they had like crazy user retention because like obviously everybody wants to look at like whatever the entire chat sort of defeat the chess player, which is
yeah.
great. That's also has to be more examples like this, right? There was like a company which did it
Yeah, I
in which
think
was
games
based out
in
in New
general
York.
are an example.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like people playing like for example PUBG or like I mean PUBG is like a super old example, but like
Yeah.
Modern Warfare or like these Apex Legends for example. Like there's so many people on the server that like interact with each other. Like in some way that is art. It's just not on a website, for example, or like a YouTube video. But that's like still like
Yeah.
someone made that for like people to experience. And that's like
Makes sense.
also art to me. And like that's actually more of like a important art like now because it's like someone would prefer using that than like just watching like a AI movie or something.
Very
So
interesting. Very interesting. So okay, let's talk about like stock music again, right? Because I want to know the exact process as to how you went about this. Okay, I get how you sort of had the waitlist approach and whatnot, but let's say from like a bare bones perspective, where you didn't have any code, like how did you start? Like what went around? What stuff did you use? Like how was that like? And how easy is it for someone else to replicate?
Yeah, so like there's a lot of people right now that like try to design on Figma first. And like Figma is getting like really good at like prototyping and
Yeah,
like you can
it
do
is.
like variables and stuff. But
Yeah.
at least before, like a lot of people still used to use Figma to like design. But
Mm-hmm.
over like like few years of like coding, I actually just prefer designing on like raw HTML, like because it's like if you use like
Really?
Tailwind or like these other tools, like you
Yeah.
can spin up like things really fast
Fair.
and you can get like an
Mhm.
idea of how it looks.
I've
And then
used
like
Tailwind,
that's
but
also
I
like
still think Figma is easier, bro. Like I just use Figma to push out the prototype like this like afternoon. Why do you think is
yeah,
that?
but
Like
I
why do you
think
think
I
Tailwind is
mean
easier?
like it takes like some practice, but I think like
Really?
I can I think it's like for me now at least putting like a button somewhere or like putting like text there, putting like anything you really need is like as fast as clicking a button, like because of autocomplete, because of like
Makes sense.
Tailwind suggestions. Like
Yeah.
I think if you can get really fast and you also like are a programmer, it makes sense to
Mm-hmm.
directly design an HTML. Like just don't put any style and just like put like all your objects, see how it looks, like see how the user would interact with it. And that's like how I start. And I've done like
Hmm.
so many projects in the past, like hackathons and everything, that I have like reusable code that I keep using from my like
Mm-hmm.
library, and I kind of know where all the code is because I wrote it before. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like now I can like that's how I came up with stock music. Like made the website in like a day or like 2 days. Like quickly just spun up like
Mm-hmm.
whatever I had, and yeah, like that's how I launch products now. So
Interesting. I think that's more like efficient when you want to just hack around something, right? Or would you still do it for like very large scale projects as well? Like, is it really? Like, do you
I
just
think
design on HTML? That's what you do.
I think
Tailwind.
very large scale products like should never be built anyway from scratch unless it's
Yeah.
like you're building it for like a company like someone else or something. Like if it's your
Mm-hmm.
own product, most likely like you shouldn't build like a large
Because the
scale
reason
product.
I'm asking you this is because I've worked with a couple of devs before, and if I
Yeah.
told them, okay, this is how we're gonna do it, they'll beat me up. They'll actually beat me up because
I
obviously,
mean, you shouldn't
yeah,
there's also like this famous saying, like you just do things that don't scale. It's like especially if you're making
yeah,
a new project, like maybe if you
uh-huh,
already have like a big audience, like you know like a huge traffic is gonna come in, or like you have a famous product, like it's like a side
mm-hmm,
product, or like you're working for a big company, then it's like completely different. Like if I was like working at Morgan Stanley, then I wouldn't
mm-hmm,
do this. Like I would like
yeah,
start like thinking normally. But like if you're like trying to make like a project for the first time, like I think just go for it. Like don't like try to make something super scalable, like have like load balancers there, like make like the perfect
mm,
library, like just have like scrappy code, push it out. If people care about it, then maybe you can fix it. But if no one cares, then like you save like so much time.
so much time,
Um,
yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
so I
Okay,
think,
what after
yeah,
the
I mean, it
website? Like,
depends on
yeah,
like who's listening to the
mm-hmm,
podcast. But if you're
mm-hmm,
like, if you don't have a big audience, like you're starting now, you just have to like make an
mm-hmm.
idea, just make it on like, just make it super fast and like launch it and like see if people care about it, and that's it.
Do you think no code is a good option? Like, if you just want to hack up an
Yeah, I think
MVP, just like as quick as possible. Have you ever used it?
I've not used no code. Like I've used no code, but never launched like an idea on it. Like I just wanted to see how good it is yet. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's not like I don't think it's like faster than like the code libraries I already have, like for my past projects.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
I
Yeah.
think like if you're trying to make like a simple website, I would still
Mm-hmm.
suggest it because then you just like don't spend all that time. Um, yeah, like it's good to get
Very
like an
interesting.
MVP out, but I personally just prefer like my own website because I can just do it like just copy paste from
Mm-hmm.
my other home pages, copy paste from like other stuff. So
Very interesting. Okay, so how does like stock music work? Like, what's the backend like? Like, how does it work? Like, can you explain?
yeah, so
Because
it's
I have a
actually
couple of
pretty
questions
simple.
on that, like later on. Because right now, I think it's you select a specific genre, and then you get to select the duration of how much long the track should be,
Yeah,
and then you get a track out. But how simple, how easy would it be for you to like merge two genres together? Let's say like whatever lo-fi, and you just sort of whatever confluence that with, let's say, rock. Like how easy will that be?
I think it would be pretty easy. So like there's like two,
Mm-hmm.
3 ways to do this. Like right now, the
Yeah.
way like the model works is you can generate 30 seconds of music,
Hmm.
and there's like a function in that same model that you can extend music. So if I want to
Hmm.
extend the song, I can give it like 5-10 seconds of like the previous song and I can extend it. So if I want
Hmm.
to generate like 5 minutes of a song, I generate 30 seconds first, then give the
Hmm.
model like the last 5 seconds and say like generate 25 more seconds and keep going until 5 minutes. um,
Hmm.
and if I want
Got it.
to, I can change like the prompt at any point. So I can go from like lo-fi, like slowly transition into rock, for example. And it's going
Very
to be like
interesting.
very easy to like implement that. But like people
Hmm.
don't really ask for that. Like
I mean,
right now I'm more focused on like what
feature
people ask
requests.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I also want to like make like a, like right now I want to make
Uh-huh.
like a suite of like tools, like
Huh.
extending music, for example, or like I want to also generate like much longer songs, like
Hmm.
lo-fi music, to like get like an audience, because I don't really have that many people using the website yet. Like for example, like I had a website called What on Earth, and that
Might
project
have.
got
Might have
like
checked it out.
so
Yeah.
many people using it. Like I ran out of like 3 accounts of like OpenAI credits for free, and then like I had to put like more in
Hmm.
and stuff. And like I think at some point I had like 60,000 like total users.
Hmm.
Like they were like sort of like a lot of daily users because it was like uh, very initial days of like OpenAI API being public. So like very few projects were there.
Hmm.
Um, and like I think stock music hasn't reached that stage yet because it's
Hmm.
like already so crowded. So my
Yeah.
like I have to like figure out how to like get people. And like that's what I'm gonna do like this month. I just create like
Hmm.
short form content, like create like more features. So I feel like it's still not there yet, but at least it's
Hmm.
growing. Like every week it's like growing by a few users. So
Very interesting. What do you think about like a boring SaaS for music? Let's say you have just 3 seconds or 5 seconds of a song, you just create a website with just autocomplete. You want to create a suite of tools, obviously, but like what about like a boring SaaS? Like just like an autocomplete in multiple websites like those. What do you think about that? Or do you want to just push it
yeah,
with
so
stock music?
I look at stock music right now in that lens
Huh.
itself. Like it's just
Got
like
it.
one feature, like you generate a song. I'm not sure about creating like a different website for every feature.
Mm-hmm.
But like in general, like I have like a lot of projects that are like
Mm-hmm.
under NotPink as like the parent entity. So like I like these
Hmm.
are like still boring SaaSes that like I just create
Got it.
like a bunch and like I say
Mm-hmm.
designed by NotPink. So like it creates like
Mm-hmm.
some like envelope around it that says like like all these are like unrelated boring SaaS companies, but like they're all
Mm-hmm.
designed by NotPink. That's how I'm doing it right now. But I think I'll keep like all the music in like one place, for example, because like at least right now I feel like people can search music, go to the website, and like they can just like figure out like which feature they need. Um,
Got it.
then like
Very interesting.
uh,
Hmm.
managing different websites. I think that's what I prefer, but maybe I'm wrong. I have to like try it out. I've never done that.
Interesting. Okay, so talk me through the model. Like, did you develop it? Like, what is this model like? Uh,
Yeah.
Is
So
it is
right
it
now,
yeah, yeah, tell me.
oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was saying like it
That was
uses
the
like
question.
Facebook. Yeah, it uses
Yeah.
like Facebook audio craft. So it's
Yeah.
like it's not my model at all. But it's like very easy to like fine tune for different genres. And
Hmm.
I haven't done that yet, but that's like my plan, like of like novelty eventually when it like if people request. Like right now, like all the people like that tried it, like I haven't got like feedback saying that this genre needs to get better. Like it's more like
Hmm.
the feedback I've gotten till now is more like I want to generate longer music, or I want to generate like completion of my music, or like they just
Got
want
it.
like more tools in general.
Huh.
Like they want like all the tools. Like I want to upload my video, it'll add the song already, like things like that. So that's what I'm
Hmm.
focusing now because like I know people need it. um but yeah, like
Interesting.
um yeah, I mean I have no like plans right now. I'm just following like my waitlist request, like seeing the
Huh.
most common, building that, launching it, and like just cycle repeat.
Because the reason I asked this question to you, because I ask this question to almost every person associated to tech, right? That the question is the current AI tools that we have. Like a lot of people, at least I've heard a lot of people say that they are nothing but wrappers around existing AI models. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that comment? Like, is it something that you agree with? Like, do you agree with, okay, you build such a good UI on top of the model that people are using it, or like eventually you're planning to build like a proprietary model so that your stuff scales?
So, like when it comes to like building my own thing, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it'll ever compete with like anything Facebook
Oh,
makes,
sure,
because
makes sense, makes sense. Huh.
like just the amount of money they have, like they can
Mm-hmm.
like make new models like so easily compared to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the rappers thing, I think is like pretty much a non-issue. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything is a rapper if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I agree that like everything right now is a rapper, and like a lot of the products right now are pretty much useless, I would say. Like I mean, not a lot, but like you'll often find like things that like don't need to exist, and like they're
Mm-hmm.
just like wrappers of like ChatGPT. Like people can just go to ChatGPT and ask the same thing, if they
Mm-hmm.
really need to, and like they don't need it every day. Like you don't need a website for it. But like I think some rappers like pretty much are going to make it, like because the user is not going to use that model. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to go and like go to collab and like generate their own
They
song.
would, yeah,
So
makes sense.
like
Huh.
Arab like did that. Like it was like so complicated to like make AI voice, and like Arab
100%,
made
yeah.
Musicify. Like he just made like making AI voice just easier, like in a click of a button. And obviously it blew up because like
Mm-hmm.
it's a rapper, but who cares it's a rapper? Like I
Who cares?
need
It's a
that
rapper at
and
the
it's
end of the day.
easier.
Yeah, makes sense.
And
Makes sense.
everything
Do you
is
want
a
to see a
rapper.
rapper
Like
that I built?
Airbnb, what are you building?
Because it's something with the hackathon. Let me just so we haven't like pushed it out yet, but uh, uh, it's called Originality AI. So I think what I'm building first, right? So let me just open Figma. Let me share
Yeah.
screen if I can. So it's about hackathon, and these the platform where students can just push in with projects. Oops, it's not letting me share my screen. One second. Let
Yeah. Also, your voice is like slightly breaking now, but maybe it's like
me see this. So it's like it's a platform where fourth year students can just push in their projects, and then it'll like project PDFs, and then it'll check for plagiarism with the platform, and then if it's above a certain threshold, it's allowed to be published there. And then there's an abstract that is generated, like it's an AI generated abstract basically. So it just takes the PDF and then whatever it pushes out a abstract. And to me, building that sounds very easy because there's this thing called originality AI. It's directly linked with Airtable, and that's where all my stuff is. Like everything that's uploaded will be there. And once it's there, it just pushes out the summary and the plagiarism score there. So it's very easy to build. That's what I'm doing. What do you think about this? Like, do you think I still, even after the hackathon, should I still work on this, like as a side gig? Because this
yeah.
seems
I
pretty
mean,
easy
like
to
the way
build,
I
right?
look
Like
at
it doesn't. Yeah, tell me.
like the way I look at stuff nowadays, like before I used to
Mm-hmm.
like start thinking about all this, but like now,
Mm-hmm.
like at least like it's gotten like quite easier for me to like make things where I just launch. If it doesn't get
Mm-hmm.
users, I think just scrap it. If it gets users, like um try to get more users. And like if you really think like the idea is good, like and you don't get users, then you just have to
Mm-hmm.
like iterate and like get users. Like pretty much like the build space like formula, like I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone should just follow. Like it works so well. Like you just launch something. If it doesn't work, like and if you tried your best like trying to get users, like used all
Mm-hmm.
like launched on Reddit, launched it on
Yeah,
YouTube,
all
like launched it
avenues. Yeah.
wherever.
Mm-hmm.
If you launch it everywhere that you don't get users, then maybe like just scrap that idea. But like iterate over, like don't scrap it completely, but like iterate over
Mm-hmm.
that idea, and like make something useful that still in that region, and like launch again in all these avenues. And if it works somewhere, then like exploit it. If it doesn't work, just
Mm-hmm.
like iterate again. But like um I think it's like a lot hard to say like should you continue. Like I think just like
Mm-hmm.
launch if it doesn't work, and if you want to continue, just like launch again
Got it.
in a new place. So
So, has
yeah,
like
I
any
don't
of
think it
your
like ever
yeah,
stops.
tell me. Yeah, what?
Yeah, I was just saying it like never stops. Like if you like you shouldn't have like a gap, I think. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't think about like the idea too much. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
like something, it sounds good, just launch. Maybe someone likes it, maybe they don't. If they like it, then you continue. Like I think that's
Makes
like the
sense.
easiest, simple way to go about things.
Has any of your like hackathon projects actually stayed alive after the hackathon ended?
So like most of my hackathon projects were basically me like trying to win the cash prize, not trying to get
Ah,
users.
got it.
But like there's one project that actually stayed alive for a long time. It was called 2SQ. Like it was like Reddit for like NFT holders,
Hmm.
where if you held like an NFT, then you could like go to like that subreddit for the NFT, and like
Hmm.
only you could access it, and other people could only read content from it. Something like that is what I built for the hackathon. Like I actually won like a prize for that. Like,
Hmm.
but I didn't continue it too long after that because I don't know. I feel like for me, all the users seemed very botty or like very scammy and stuff. So I feel like at that
Hmm.
point, I don't want to like create like a social media for like people just trying to earn money from like selling their NFT to other people. Like it didn't seem like very exciting to me at that point.
Yeah,
I didn't see like many actual humans trying to like connect with
exactly.
other people. It seemed more like people trying to sell their stuff. So I just
Very
like
interesting.
got lost interest in it.
True. So, what do you think is what is your general formula to win hackathons?
I think the general formula is like for if it's like a 24-hour hackathon, you basically spend like 12 hours building,
Hmm.
and you spend like you get some sleep. Like you spend like 3-4 hours sleeping if you like, maybe even more, but at least get like 3-4 hours sleeping, and like the rest of the time you go over with your teammates, like go over like presentations, um, like show people your idea, like other people around, like and just get like as much feedback as possible. And like when you present, like if you're confident enough, like you usually end up winning. Like I won like so many hackathons like in the last like 2 years that like most of it was like 3 hours of coding, and the rest of it was
Hmm.
just like me trying to like polish it and like present it nicely. And yeah, I think like if the hackathon is supposed to be like a 24 hackathon, like don't
Hmm.
like pack features into it. Like that's what I would say. Just just keep it like minimal. That like just make sure the idea is implemented and that's it. Like stop there.
Very interesting. Okay, let's say someone's going for the first. Okay, fine. So let's say someone's going for the first hackathon, and they, let's say a designer, for example, they don't know how to code. Like, is it still a good idea to go there and work with coders? Because as you said, it'll still be more of a coders will still try to hack around it. They wouldn't really pay much heed to the designers like feedback and whatnot. So do you think a
Yeah.
designer has a place in a hackathon, or should the person just wait, learn how to code, and then go to hackathon?
Yeah, so I mean, I've actually experienced it before. Like designers like
Mm-hmm.
join a team, and then they're sort of like sitting around trying to design stuff. But like in the
Mm-hmm.
end of like just the idea needs to work. Like they're
Yeah.
just trying to make like the idea work in the hackathon, not really like make like a best product.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen that happen, but I've also seen like really good use. Cause like I think if you're a designer, like first of all, I think everyone should learn to code, like general consensus. But like if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how to code yet, like you should sort of like start working on like the presentation already, because like I
Hmm.
mean, in some sense, that's like a strong suit. But I think in general, like if it's like a coding hackathon, then like majority of the work, it'll seem like it'll be done by the programmers. But like in the end, only the presentation wins. So if you have someone like
Exactly.
dedicated on the presentation, then it like sort of helps anyway.
Interesting,
Like
because we have
actually,
like a
like
designer on our team, and the thing is, they don't really, they kind of underconfident. Like, what am I supposed to do in a hackathon? Because we'll be doing most of our stuff, right? So yeah, fine. That's
yeah,
that's a
I mean,
good
like
reason
I've
to
seen
first.
like so many people win hackathons where they said, okay, we tried this during the hackathon, but we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get it to run. But the presentation was so good that they won. So like it sounds like a scam, but like in the end of the day, like you have to play the game, and like if presentation matters, then it matters. Like there's like some
Mm-hmm.
hackathons where like they focus on like the code, and I guess you can never win that unless you have like a solid dev team.
Yeah.
But like
Mm.
most hackathons are just trying to like get your idea from 0 to 0.1, like in that 24 hours. Like just get
Makes sense.
something and like present your idea. And yeah, I think like for those at least the presentation works. Like
Interesting.
that's pretty
So
much all
are you
that
like a
matters.
presentation guy? Like, are you a storyteller yourself, or like someone else in your team usually did the storytelling for you?
So for me, like the hackathons that I won, I've always done them solo. But like
Ah, okay.
when I'm done with my friends, like we end up just goofing around, having fun. But like I'm more
Oh,
like
okay.
of like a presentation person, because like
Mm-hmm.
the coding stuff, like during a hackathon, like I'm more of a presentation person. But in general, I'm more of like a coding person. Like that's how I would put it. Like because
Interesting. Huh.
I realized like I'm like you'll get super depressed if you like start coding for 24 hours, don't sleep, and like you make
Mm-hmm.
like the best thing with all the features, but like someone
Mm-hmm.
else wins because the presentation like they spend more time than you on it. So during a hackathon, like even if you're like a programmer, like at least spend like 30% of time like on your presentation, I would say.
Interesting. So how does one give a good presentation, like at least in a hackathon or in general, when presenting an idea? Because at least in build space, it's a
Yeah.
very common thing to do. Like at the end of every week, we have to just push in an update, like regardless of how much progress we made, right? So how do you, what do you think is a good product presentation like, according to you?
At least like so there's like different ways. So like for a hackathon, if you really want to hack your way into the presentation, your
Hmm.
assumption should be everyone has stash projects because it's all 24 hours.
Hmm.
So like you just have to like make like a
Hmm.
nice story and like keep it like one by one. Start like don't like explain the problem like for so long because like
Hmm.
people aren't stupid. Like you can tell them the idea, you can tell them the
Hmm.
problem in like one or two lines, and like people
Hmm.
understand the problem. Like you don't have to like explain like numbers and stuff, and like you can add it in your presentation. So like what I usually do is like I tell them like this is my idea, I'm doing this
Hmm.
because of this, like one or two lines, and
Hmm.
then you start showing what you made. Like say like and give like a story of your hackathon. Like it's like
Hmm.
sort of like a good way to like say people like tell people like you actually did work in hackathon, and like that's all they care about usually.
Hmm.
So like
Makes sense.
you tell them we made this, like, and then after some time we like made this, and like finally
Hmm.
end up with this, and like you show them the presentation the whole time, and like tell them about your bugs, features. Like it's like usually fine to do that also. Like tell them like this part doesn't work, but
Hmm.
well, like we can fix this like after the hackathon, stuff like that. And like you also like add like why things are important,
Hmm.
and like circle back to like the origin story. So like say you add this button, and like it saves like 5 hours. So tell them like it saves 5 hours for like
Hmm.
someone um because of this button. Like when you click on it, like it's gonna save
Got
you
it.
so much time because
Hmm.
if you remember like the problem was like this person takes 5 hours to do this, now it takes zero. So like
Hmm.
you just circle back to the problem statement like every action you do, and like all the bugs and stuff no one cares at that point. Like you're saving five
Makes
hours of
sense.
someone's time in 24 hours. So like
Makes
you're going to
sense.
like change like
Hmm.
so many people's time.
Got it.
So
So it
yeah, in general, like
yeah.
just tell like a
Sorry.
nice
Go ahead.
story, like
Good story.
and
Yeah.
go through like your main feature, and like forget about like looks and stuff. Like make like a nice website. Like don't make it like super ugly, but like you don't have to add like
Hmm.
animations and stuff because like the person telling like, oh, I saved 5 hours of like someone's time with this button is gonna win, no matter
Yeah.
what animation you
Makes
have on
sense.
your button. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. So at least from what I forgot, you don't really fuck with 3JS and stuff like that. You always like want your stuff to like work more, like at least in hackathons. Because you know what I tried? I
yeah,
was like, I'll make like a good landing page with 3JS. I'll just push in some like great 3D animation and whatnot. But then I was like, really, like, how does it even matter? Because yeah, whatever. Makes sense. So this will be the last question before we take a break. Because I have some stuff to show you and some stuff to tell you before we sort of move on to the next segment of the podcast. But the last question before we break is how does one learn how to code? Like, what do you think, at least in 2023, what's the ideal way to learn how to code from scratch?
I think at least in 2023, just use ChatGPT. So like, if
Hmm.
you want to make websites, you tell, "Can I make a website? Give me step by step instructions," and like it'll give you like something to copy paste, and like
Hmm.
it'll give you stuff to download. It'll tell you what to install. It'll pretty much tell you everything you need to know.
Hmm.
And like I think like people probably jump to like libraries and stuff super fast, but if you're starting to code now, like just ask ChatGPT to explain everything and like give you step by step instructions. I think it's like super useful. Like it's
Hmm.
like I've learned like so many new things, like even
Hmm.
like these papers and stuff. Like they have like words I don't understand. Like normally googling them would be a nightmare, but like I think with ChatGPT is like so easy to like understand concepts, ask like why, ask like questions. So like I don't know. I think like coding now should be easy to learn. Like just ask ChatGPT. It like tell you how to learn.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we'll take a break now. But again, I hope you got something to drink. Did you or no?
Yeah, I got water.
What did you get? You got water?
Water,
Really?
water. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you'll get coffee or something. You seem like someone who drinks coffee a lot. Do you?
I mean, I drink coffee, but I don't make coffee. Like, if someone gives me coffee, I drink it. So at home, I don't make it. Like, I just drink water and stuff.
So you did hackathons without coffee, like really?
Yeah, Red Bull. Like, they usually give Red
Oh,
Bull at
Red Bull.
hackathon.
Yeah, makes
I
sense.
mean, that's what keeps me awake. But otherwise, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like, I can drink coffee outside, but I don't make coffee.
Because even making coffee is very artsy, if I would say, because like if you have the right
Yeah,
equipment, you can do a bunch of good stuff with it. Like actually, you should. I mean, you should.
yeah. In general,
Okay,
also,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's
Bolo.
like pretty artsy. Like the ones that our parents make, like chai and stuff. Like, it has
Mm-hmm.
like its own recipe. I think so.
Yeah, makes sense. Because the thing with chai is like you cannot, two people cannot make the same chai. Like that. That's what I've noticed. Like everybody has their own
Yeah,
different way of
it's their
making
own
it.
art.
Even
Yeah,
if they're using the same ingredients, the way every chai turns out is pretty different. Like it's pretty different. Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. So funny how we were talking about crypto and now we are talking about how chai is. So yeah, like back to crypto. So what do you think about the crypto dilemma? Like what do you think about it? Do you think it will ever be solved or not the dilemma? Okay, I'll retake this
Yeah,
one.
I was gonna ask you
What
which dilemma.
the crypto trilemma? Like what do you think about the crypto trilemma? Is that something you think will
Wait,
ever
can
be
you tell me
solved?
what this dilemma is?
Are so
Like,
it's scalability, it's decentralization, and it's security.
okay,
So yeah, so if if you have two, you can't have the third. Basically, it's like that.
yeah. Like, actually,
Mm-hmm.
like I thought about it just a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
like from everything that I understood, I think, like
Mm-hmm.
to me, I think you just make like the one non-scalable thing, which is Bitcoin, and
Mm-hmm.
like create like scalable layers on top of it, which is like other applications, and like
Mm-hmm.
you have like the most trustful like backend, like trust, like that's like the source of truth, which is Bitcoin, like or like any other thing. But I personally believe Bitcoin. And then you have like your applications, which sort of like are
Mm-hmm.
not as trustworthy, but like scalable. And like you just sort of
Got it.
like like Lightning was like one network which I saw, which was like sort of like blowing up, like with Bitcoin. I haven't seen too much into like more networks, but like something like that is what I think would work in the long run, because I think crypto is like pretty much here to stay, because no
Mm-hmm.
one wants to trust anyone else. Like no country likes any other country pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
like no one likes anyone at this point. Like this sort of like making ties. So the way I look at it is like there's only one thing that's
Mm-hmm.
like there has to be someone that someone doesn't own. Like someone didn't create,
Yeah.
someone doesn't own.
Something everybody
Like that's like
believes in, regardless of the political
yeah.
situation at any given point of time.
And
Yeah.
I think like any new crypto, unless it's like really, really done well, like
Uh,
you'll always know the person that created it or like the organization. And like I
mm,
think that doesn't work. Like because if it's not scaled or like fully yet, then like government will just be like, can you just shut it down? Like their own government. But like with Bitcoin, like there's no stopping that now. Like it's over.
makes
So
sense.
I think
Yeah.
like crypto is here to stay. Like because like there's always like someone that needs something to trust, and like
Mm-hmm.
the application on top, I'm not sure yet, but I think like my guess would be like you build like applications like around it, which
Mm-hmm.
lack security but like have scalability, and like for example, I send you like 10 rupees or like
Mm-hmm.
$10,
Uh,
and you receive it within a second. Obviously, it didn't
mm,
get confirmed, but it will get confirmed, and you can see it after like half an hour or like 10 minutes.
yeah.
But whenever it got confirmed, that you can see your like your transaction in that bundle, and then you know
Mm,
like okay, you actually sent it to me. But
mm,
you don't have to like wait for it, like, and
yeah.
then like there'll be like few errors obviously, but I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know too much about that yet. But I think that's pretty much like how it would be used.
Interesting. So I see. So what do you think people get wrong about crypto though? Like why are there so many people who hate crypto like with all their heart? Because I don't know what, right? Because I've spoken to like well, both sides of the spectrum. I've spoken to Web3 folks, I've spoken to even folks who are in the traditional market space, people from Zerodha basically. So the one side like loves crypto, they're like, this is the future. And the other side is like
Yeah,
fuck it, like no crypto never. So why do you think there's such a dichotomy? Like why does that exist?
I think it's fair. Like both sides are pretty fair. Like the
Hmm.
Web3 side, like the people are like very into Web3 are delusional slightly,
Hmm.
but you have to be like slightly
Delusional slide.
delusional to like make like
Yeah.
good things.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Like you can't like have something that's really fucking good, like really useful, without like the person that created it being like delusional to a certain extent. But I think those guys are still like slightly delusional. Like they think like everyone's gonna get into like these different blockchains and like NFTs and stuff. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of crazy. Like I personally don't think that's like the future because it's like super hard like for people to
Hmm.
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can wrap it around like my banking app uses NFTs in the background, then it's pretty cool. Like, and I think that could be implemented, and like it's probably getting implemented now. And then at
Mm-hmm.
that point, you don't have to question if it's the future or not. Like it's just like a technology. Like I replaced SQL with like this blockchain. Like who cares? Like my
Hmm.
mom doesn't care. Um,
Makes sense.
but but I think like the whole like NFT craze of like that seems pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like super useful as a technology, like, but it's not that useful like as people probably think in like the Web3 space. But
Mm-hmm.
I also understand like the other side where they're like, oh my god, get out of this, like don't even touch crypto. I think that also
Mm-hmm.
makes sense given like how many scammers and stuff were there in the past. Like
Yeah.
everyone knows like someone who has got scammed at least once.
Have you been
So
rugpulled ever?
I've never been scammed, but I've seen like some people like complain like, oh, I lost this
Mm-hmm.
wallet, or like it's like I think it's just too complicated for like the regular user who's not tech
Hmm.
savvy.
Makes sense.
So
Huh.
I can see why like it's so easy to scam someone. Um, and like that's why some people get scammed. But yeah, I think like staying away from crypto is like also not my thing. Like at least for me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I look at it more like I think you've heard this 100 times, but like and lots of people say this also. Like I look at it just like an asset that's
Hmm.
like it's just has like giving value to like
Hmm.
Bitcoin is like pretty hard, for example. But it's like
Yeah.
it makes so much sense if you look at how everything else has value. But like people sort of split it.
Hmm.
Like okay, this gold item or like this
Yeah.
thing that I own has value. But like since someone made this from thin air, it doesn't have value. But it doesn't make sense. Like that thing has like intrinsic value. Like it's
Hmm.
like people just can't grasp that. But if you think about it like long enough, it makes sense. But you
Yeah.
gotta like ignore all the scam and everything around it. Like
I think
if you
it's something to
include
do with the less obvious utility that people will see in it. Because with gold,
yeah
people will see an obvious utility. Okay, whatever. It can be used here, or it can be used there. But the thing with Bitcoin,
yeah
if people are not that tech savvy, like no one will see. Even they won't see the obvious the utility. That's why they might feel okay. This doesn't hold any intrinsic value. People are just saying okay, this has value. Then whatever. That's why we should believe in it. Something like that.
yeah.
Maybe because of
And
that.
also like I
So
think
once there is like mass adoption, some form of utility which is public enough. So okay, then okay, this is useful here, or maybe they will be okay enough to attach value to it. At least accept. That's
yeah,
what
and
I think.
also I think it's like a fun thought experiment for everyone to do.
Hmm.
Like just imagine like you're living in the future, like you
Hmm.
have like space travel, you're like going to Mars, you're going to like the
Hmm.
moon, like you're doing all of this. Like what is currency at that point? Like what would you
Hmm.
define? Like would you define as like this random number by a bank, like a country made like 2000 years ago or something? Like I don't know, like 200 years ago. Like would you like define that as currency, or would you just like consider like this provably math like logic that was created by this random guy that's like completely anonymous, but like it just works and everyone's like using it. Like I think that's like
Hmm.
more trustworthy because it just makes more future sense to me. Like it's like it's more provable, like more like transparent than like this random like COBOL old system in like this random basement of this bank that's like defining how much money we have. Like it doesn't make sense
Hmm.
to me. So I think in like a future sense, it makes sense to upgrade to something. Maybe that's
Hmm.
not like any of these. Like maybe it's not Ethereum, maybe it's not Bitcoin, but like it's like going to use cryptography. So like technically it's crypto, but like we don't have
Yeah.
to call it crypto. Like it's just like you need to create like something more future proof that's
नाम
like more
बदलना पड़ेगा.
transparent.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
makes sense. Makes logical sense. Okay, so where do you think can like crypto actually be used in like existing technology where it will be better than the already existing protocols that people are using? Because like ideally
So
when I
like
talk about this to people, they are at least from the perspective of DeFi, people from the traditional space they're like, it's just logistics that they are solving for, or it's just paperwork that they're solving for. Like, why do we need to implement a new technology for that? Like, that's what their general take is. Like when I talk about DeFi.
Yeah.
So, is there a place in, let's say, any industry where this crypto will actually be beneficial, when compared with the current protocols?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll start off by saying I'm not an expert, but
Hmm.
from what I understood, like simple example would be like if US like wants to put sanctions on country, fine, forget US, but like country A wants to put sanctions on
Give
like
it a
country
visa,
B.
right?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't want to visa like not because of that, but like in general,
Yeah, makes sense.
like
Yeah. Hmm.
anyone can put sanctions. So if country A puts like sanctions on country B,
Hmm.
and like let's just say that's like they want to interact with C, right? So B wants to send money to C, but they don't have access to US dollar anymore, and like all this while they were using US dollar, it would make sense if like you had a currency where a country just couldn't do that, and like if like that country just like sent Bitcoin to like country C, and like
Hmm.
it would make so much more sense. Like I think like I just look at it that way. Like I think it doesn't make sense like if you start seeing okay what's the value of Bitcoin, because then it like starts to break away. Like it's
Hmm.
like a very hard question for me to answer. Like it's like an economic student's question, I think. But
Yeah.
like I don't know where the value exactly comes from, but like if you think about it, like I want Bitcoin to send to you, you need Bitcoin to send to me, and like
Hmm.
we buy up all the Bitcoin, the price is just gonna go up. Like people want it,
Huh.
that's why it goes up. But like it's like more of um like I mean, fine. The easiest way to say it is like right now, if I want to say 1 rupee is worth this much gold, like I just need like people to like send me like I need to be able to sell this much gold for like that much rupees, and that's how I define the rupees value, for example.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
and like US dollar, suppose is the same way. Now
Yeah.
there's like value for each currency, and like it's like basically if I want to send you like rupees and US dollar doesn't accept rupees, I can convert to gold, send them gold, and like
Yeah.
they can like take their own, like they can be like we want like this much gold because US dollar is worth this much, for example.
Hmm. Makes
So
sense.
I think you can just do the same thing with Bitcoin, and the price just goes up because a lot of people want to do the same thing, and
Huh.
like there's only limited
Makes sense.
supply. But like if you like start to look at okay, what's the use case of Bitcoin? Like this is a use case. Like you can't like just make
Hmm.
like a new use case. Like this is already such a good use case. Like it's the future. Like it could be the future of currency, and that's like
Makes sense.
then a lot of people want that currency. It's like that's how I look at it. But in my head, it's still very convoluted. Like there's like parts that need to be like
Hmm.
fixed. Um, and I'm sure
Makes
there's
sense.
people that do this full time, so they
Yeah.
probably understand better.
Have you seen uh the Taleb lecture on the actual value of Bitcoin?
No,
Are you a Taleb person by any chance or no?
no, I don't know who that is.
You don't know Taleb? Have you heard of Anti-Fragile, the Black Swan, something similar?
Black Swan, I've heard. That's like cryptocurrency exchange, right?
I don't know that. But the Black
Or that
Swan
might be some
problem
other
is,
swan.
Taleb is like he's a very well-known mathematician, and
Okay.
he wrote the Inserto basically. It's a very popular series. Like it's like mathematical and philosophical at the same time. He's that वैसा type का
Nice.
like
Sounds
crazy.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link of the lecture. So it's about he has used like mathematical principles to prove कि the value of Bitcoin is zero. I mean, zero is like थोड़ा ज़्यादा. I mean, obviously it's a little bit too much, but like the way he puts it is insane. You should like listen to it once. Like I mean, obviously he comes from a place where he hates Bitcoin and whatnot, but his perspective is like pretty cool because he's an actual like mathematician and whatnot. So yeah, I'll send that to you.
Yes,
Okay, other
yes.
than
I
that,
like to see like both
yeah,
sides, so it's like I would
yeah.
love to watch that. Yeah.
So I've never seen everybody who has been on the show has read Talib at least once. That's a norm, and you
Oh,
haven't,
I
which is
haven't read
it's
it.
cool.
I mean, I've seen both sides of the argument, like just in
Uh,
general, like,
yeah,
but I haven't
yeah.
like read too much into it.
Yeah, no, Talib is like pretty popular, at least in the tech space. Like almost everybody has like read it sometime. You should try reading Talib if you like
Yeah,
non-fiction and like a little bit of heavy reading. If you like it, though, you should try. The
yeah,
Inserto
yeah.
series is probably for you.
Send me the link. I'll
So you
look
like
at it.
math, no?
Yeah, I like reading in general, like
Interesting.
not like reading books, but like I
Hmm.
like reading like math and like papers and like logical stuff. If it's
Hmm.
easier to grasp, like I'm not like super smart, like I can't like understand everything, but if it's like written well, then it's usually easy to understand. I like reading
Hmm.
stuff for that.
The thing with like Talib books, at least from what I've figured, is you have to read them like thrice or like even four times.
Yeah, yeah,
Because every time you read it, you'll figure, okay, this is connected here. Okay, it's like that. It's pretty fun. So
nice.
the reason I'm mentioning Talib this much is because I applied for an internship like 2 days ago or something, and these guys are like, okay, give us a book summary. Like it make I don't know how and where it sort of plays, but like what they wanted. So I put a
Yeah.
book summary on, I wrote a book summary on Talib, and for that I had to read the book like again, which which took me a while.
Yeah.
So that's that. Interesting. So other than that, not really related to crypto. What do you think about WorldCoin?
Like the ones that make the orb to like make sure that you're
Yeah,
human.
altcoins.
Like
Yeah.
I think, like to me, when I first saw the idea, like out of nothing, it seemed extremely cool. Like because I was already working on like algos, like which was my
Hmm.
like sort of detecting human project, and this seemed like just like a way higher level, way more like
Yeah.
high quality implementation. Like that was like my first impressions, but now I feel like it's like seems like slightly dystopian that like someone is like has to
Hmm.
check like if I'm a human to like go through this thing. Like I think it's like it makes sense with like all this AI getting like so good that you can never even tell if like it's a human or
Hmm.
not. But I'm not sure like if it's like it seems like slightly dystopian where I would still use it for the tech, like okay, scan my eyeballs. I don't really care that much. Hopefully it doesn't matter
Hmm.
much. But it seems like crazy, like that we have to like do this. It's um like oh I have to go through this human check to like use something. It like seems kind of crazy. But I guess it is like the future. Like you have to find a way to do it. And it's kind of funny that like Sam Altman like was like the co-founder initially of WorldCoin, and then he
Yeah.
like also made like the solution to like make that more viable. It's like pretty
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is the
Made
future. Like you
wait.
can't stop. It's like at some point you have to figure out who the humans are, and
Yeah, he
I
ended up
think
creating the
genuinely
problem and he
you
had to
won't.
create the solution for himself. That's pretty
Yeah, I
funny.
think
Yeah.
eventually you won't even be able to
Yeah.
tell like which people are human. So you have to find a way.
It's already happening, right? So at least at least in the synthetic video space, it's insane. The synthetic video space.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the next, you give it like 3 months, it'll be no one will be able to predict. Like there's no way. There's literally no way. And firstly, it's
I
very
mean,
cheap.
I
Like
think
yeah,
I think in general on like you'll find like people walking on the road that are
hmm.
probably like not humans and you wouldn't be able to tell at some point. Like
Kaira,
and then you'll
how
probably
far do you
really
think?
need stuff at this.
How far do you
I mean,
think
it's
is
really hard
that
to say.
time?
Like my guess would be like in my lifetime, but towards the end, so like 50 years. I think there'll be like random people walking around like that are like not humans, like
Yeah.
coexisting. I
You
think
know what
it's like
scares me?
at least as much.
You know what scares me?
Yeah.
It's synthetic video because people are so gullible. And if synthetic video is this good, you can cause a riot
Yeah.
in like 3 4 viral videos. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
and
I don't know
you
how like people are gonna cope with this stuff actually.
yeah.
The the easiest way would be like the same way we don't trust screenshots anymore. Like I
Hmm.
stopped trusting screenshots. Like all of us stopped trusting screenshots when we were like kids. Like we
Yeah.
saw memes of like Obama texting some random guy and like oh
Yeah.
obviously like
Hmm.
edited. Like at some point we'll just be like okay it's like a video but like you just don't like you have no merit like to the video. Um
And the
and
transition
yeah
period for that will be way too long. Because I still know so many people who just don't know what this is. Like they don't know what synthetic
yeah
video is. So for them to
yeah
realize, okay, this is possible, it'll be longer.
yeah
Whereas like Photoshop was still like the thing with Photoshop is or even like the way photo manipulation is, it's still kind of intuitive because you're just playing around with all the existing pixels. Whereas when you say that okay, you're changing every frame or you're generating every frame in a video to make it look realistic, it's just it's scary for a lot
Yeah,
of people.
I mean, I think this generation will probably not be able to cope. Like, at least like my
Hmm.
parents, like my mom, if she sees like a video of me speaking, like, I mean,
Hmm.
now I told her everything. Like, this is probably like, if it's like me saying something like really stupid, or, like really like crazy to
Hmm.
you, like asking you for help or something, like it's just AI generated, like it's not me. But like I think most people of that age will never cope with it. But like I think people getting born right now, or like people are like
Hmm.
5 years old, 6 years old, like they just be used to like all fake stuff. Like they don't really care. I think
Ideal.
like they're not going
Makes
to take
sense.
anything
Makes sense.
face
What I
value.
think is, at least for the next like 20 years or so, like let's 20 is a stretch, like 15 years or so. 15 is a stretch, maybe 10 years. That's a good number.
Yeah,
In order to reduce the impact of such synthetic video on elections and other important events, these big platforms should like just cut. I mean, they shouldn't allow think they shouldn't allow sensitive topics to be out on the platform. That's what I'm thinking. That's what my general. The quickest solution is maybe that, because other than that, like there's no other way to fix this. Because just think about it, the
yeah,
next elections, at least in US, you think either of the side won't use a what? They'll obviously use some form of synthetic way to destroy the other person's
yeah. I
reputation
mean,
to a
they're
certain
using
degree.
it probably already.
They are
To be
obviously.
honest,
Yeah, yeah.
but like I think like in general you can never stop it. So like the people
Hmm.
that made this technology cannot do anything about it because there's like
Hmm.
open source equals are as good. So I can do it in my room, so can like
Exactly. Yeah.
millions of other people, and like that's never stopping. Like the platform like YouTube stuff can never stop this as well because who are they
Hmm.
to tell that this is not real? Like it's gonna get so good that like YouTube has no choice. Like you can't believe like one person and not believe the other person. So like no matter what the person is saying, you have to believe it. Like at that point, like it just becomes like he said, she said, like, and you believe like whatever you want. It's gonna get pretty messy, I think. But it's
It's gonna get
like I
ugly.
guess
Yeah.
at least we can see it coming. Like it's not like it's gonna hit us by surprise, like what's going on. Like people will be like skeptical about like most things.
What do you think about
Not
jobs though? Like, yeah, tell me.
no, no, I was just saying like not everyone. Like I'm pretty sure like a lot
Huh.
of people get fooled, like and be like,
Huh.
oh, like this person said this, I'm not voting for this person. But yeah,
Hmm. What do you think about jobs? As we discussed earlier, that the bar for so many things is just going higher. So
yeah,
even if you look at jobs, like most of the low level, let's say data entry jobs, or even like very junior level developer jobs are just going to be replaced, are getting replaced as we are speaking. Let's
yeah.
say 2 years down the line, like you see the way this is accelerating and how everything is just changing. Do you think a lot of you will be rendered jobless because of what's happening?
I mean, for sure. Like a lot of people will be rendered like jobless of their previous job, and hopefully they can find something new to do. But
Hmm.
I think obviously like most of the jobs that like data entry or like manual effort will get
Mm-hmm.
like pretty much
New.
eradicated
Hmm.
like over like 2 years. So like that's like no question. But like hopefully they can all find like something else to do, and like they already are aware of like the fact that they're going to get replaced. Like if you're a data entry person
Mm-hmm.
right now, you should
Hmm.
already know that your job is going, and like if you're like young, then you should like figure out like something else. But I think in general, like no one's job is like secure.
Yeah.
Like even us, like if you're a programmer, like that's
Hmm.
probably gonna become useless. Like there'll be like so good tools, like anyone. Like I always use like the mom test. Like if you've seen Bill Space, like they have like the
Hmm.
mom test book that you read, and like
Yeah.
you do like the mom test. And I think my mom will be able to make like a website as good as me in like 2 years. So
Yeah.
I think
Even quicker.
website programmers,
Yeah.
if you're yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just a website programmer, you're
You're
done.
done.
Like you can't
You're
you
done.
can't just be like a website programmer. You have to be more. Like you have to have a story. You have to have like something that's about you, like something that you can make happen that AI can't, and it's always going to be like that chase. Like and it's
Hmm.
like getting it's always been there. I think it's just like faster now. Like next year you have to be better at something else apart from website building, and like the year after that you have to be something better. Like it just keeps going. I
Makes
think,
sense. Have
and
you
like
seen
people also catch up
Dream?
fast. I think.
Yeah. Have you seen Dream? I think I forgot the guy who built it. Like it's literally like it's a chat interface. You can just type in what you want to build and it just fucking gives gives it to you. It's that good.
Yeah,
Have you
I
seen
mean,
that?
it's obviously never going to be as good as like what we can do custom right now.
Right
Like
now,
not
we can.
never. I'm saying like
Yeah.
like right now it doesn't exist. I
Yeah.
think like because it would be like so viral already. But I think in like
Mhm.
a year, it's like I don't think anyone will need to make a website. Pretty much,
Yeah.
like you
At
just
least like with Dream, you can push out like semi-useful Chrome extensions. Abhi, like that's what you can build for now. Like if you want like a very very simple, let's say speed tester thingy, written speed tester, you can just build that out in seconds. Or like a to-do list is like way too whatever, but like yeah, a bunch of things you can
But I
just push
think it
out
gets
via
more
AI.
interesting. Like at least for me, like
Yeah.
I'm fine with being jobless as long as I
Mm-hmm.
know that like at least like I think there's this famous thing where it doesn't matter if you can code, like you need to execute like everything together. Like you need to have like
Mm-hmm.
marketing, you need to have like a team, you need to like make things. And I think that will never go. So and like also I feel like a lot of people get pushed into like pure science, which is also more fun. Like making robots, like going to space, like stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
existing people that are like super tech focused will probably leave like programming, like go towards
Mm-hmm.
like more science, and like
Mm-hmm.
obviously kids growing up will just directly go into science. But I think
For
like
sure.
yeah, I
Makes
mean
sense.
also like there's like so much to do. Like I think the amount of stuff to do, like we can just keep going. Like you want to go to like space, you want to like fix global warming, you want to fix like so many things. Like there's always gonna be stuff to do. Like for people, they just have to like learn. I think, and I have to learn as well. I think my job will be useless in like 2 3 years. So
Maybe. I think the way you would classify someone as useful or useless will be very different, at least in the next few years. I mean,
yeah.
even like providing value in general will just be like what value? You'll get almost everything done with AI, at least for the most part.
But I'm
Apart
optimistic
from
about
maybe,
that because I
yeah.
think
Hmm.
people find a way to give value.
Really?
Like right now, it's so easy to do stuff that you could do in the past. Like it's so easy, but there's still value. Like people still find value to give.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
like
I
in a
think it'll
monetary
just keep
basis, right? I mean, you can obviously provide value to someone else, let's say emotionally or like whatever, but in terms of if you're exchanging it for money or something like that, like it'll be just a little bit difficult like in future. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, it's possible, but then like I think people will figure it out. But yeah,
Figure out.
I don't know the answers yet.
Very interesting. Okay, so what do you think, at least from your end, do you think dystopia is something which might end up happening in the near future? Is that something you look at as like a probable future? Like, okay, ho sakta hai.
I mean, I'm actually like, I mean, it's obviously possible. Like, anything is
Uh,
possible. I'm not
yeah,
ruling
yeah.
anything out, but I'm more optimistic towards like a future where like everything's
Mm-hmm.
more like chilled out. Like, I think people
Mm-hmm.
will figure out like a way to like solve all problems. Like, if there's no jobs, they'll figure out a way to like get more jobs. Because like,
Mm-hmm.
what else are we gonna do? Like, there's nothing to do than to figure stuff out. So, I mean, I'm pretty optimistic, but I mean, if it like goes to hell, like it goes to like hell, then I mean, like I think it's fine. Like people figure out a way.
How
I'm pretty
similar do you think
optimistic
is
about
this
that.
with the Industrial Revolution? Like it has certain elements which are sort of correlated because with the
Yeah, I
advent
mean,
of
like there's
machines
so
and
many
whatnot.
jobs
Yeah,
that like got lost
yeah,
after everything.
yeah.
Like factories and all got automated and stuff. Like people found like a way to like still do other jobs. I don't know. I think there's so much for humanity to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe this sounds like pretty like cruel. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think like including our generation and like everyone above us, everyone's gonna suffer. Like
Hmm.
we're gonna like automate everything, but like there's so much for humans to do in general that I think like there's
Hmm.
like work to be done for like next 1,000 years. Like you just keep doing more things. So I don't
Interesting.
know. Like maybe like I think in the timeline that we live in, maybe it'll be pretty sad. Like oh shit, like people are losing jobs. Like they don't have
Mm-hmm.
money, like food to eat and stuff. It'll be like that sounds bad, but I'm hoping that we can fix that and like I think in general it's moving forward and like
Interesting.
you shouldn't like I don't know. I have
Got it.
I have a pretty dystopian take about my utopia.
You have
like
dystopian
I
take
like
about it.
like I think like we'll
Makes
all
sense.
suffer for it to
Yeah,
become better as humans. But I think
yeah.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
It's like
Makes sense.
sort of like a philosophy thing.
Yeah. Let's sort of come back to like
Yeah.
let's say providing value and distribution, right? So as you said, you're planning to focus on scaling stock music this month, push out short
Yeah.
form content and whatnot. So what's your approach? Like what do you think you'll be doing this month? Like
Yeah.
how are
So
you planning to scale it?
yeah, like I want to like learn as many things as possible before I like even like
Mm-hmm.
grow like if I ever leave a project, I want to learn as much as possible before leaving it. I don't think I'm going to leave stock music, but like I think it'll change like so much. So like it'll like I'll leave like the original idea and like maybe I'll move to like a different thing in music. But like right now my goal is to like create like short form videos, learn TikTok. Like I started creating TikToks. Like my first video got like 200. Now like the second video got like 800 views. I posted a video yesterday for like NotPink. It got like 1,000 views. Hopefully next one
Mm,
goes like 2K views. But like I'm learning TikTok like random tricks like or like looking up
mm-hmm.
like YouTube videos and stuff. But in general, like I just want to like spam social media
Yeah.
and like forget about it. Like I use it as like an experiment and like just try to get
Mm-hmm.
more users, and that's it.
That's what
Like I'm
even
trying
I'm
to
sort
get
of
more
trying to do.
users.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
That's like similar because I got a guy to do like reels and stuff for me. And what we are planning from tomorrow, like from Monday, once even this will be edited by tonight from what I can gauge. ते तो हो जाएगा. And then from tomorrow, like we'll just be spamming reels. Like every day we'll be spamming like 2 to 3 reels
yeah,
on like Instagram. We don't have TikTok in India, by the way, so whatever. So Instagram, whatever, even on like
yeah.
shorts and whatnot. And then see if it's like worth it. Because the thing with like my podcast is like I haven't really found a way to like scale it because earlier I used to always look at this like a side gig because obviously I thought I had more useful things to do earlier, which I don't know. That wasn't a good way to look at the podcast. Now that I've realized that, I think I should focus more on it.
Hmm.
So yes, that's what my general uh, take is. So we can sort of try to sort of share insights as to how your stuff is doing,
Yeah,
at least from short form, and let's see if we can find something. So I seen.
yeah.
All right,
So
so we are almost at the end of the podcast, and I do this thing where I ask the guest, where okay, let's say you're talking to someone who just wants to start out with building. What would you want to tell
yeah.
to them? Like, what are 3 things that they should know before they get into the space?
So I mean, like I think the first thing everyone should do is join Twitter. Like that's the first thing I would tell anyone because it's like it sounds like a toxic place, but it's like
Hmm.
you'll find like the most motivated people on Twitter. Like I've never seen anyone have like I've never seen like my timeline be so motivating because everyone's doing things. Like so you
Hmm.
join Twitter, you follow like builders, like follow like don't follow like I mean you can follow meme accounts and stuff, but like just
Yeah.
like focus on like if you're trying to get like into building, like just follow like a lot of builders, follow like whatever, like a lot of like famous builders, not so famous builders. And like I think you should just keep posting updates, like whatever you learn. Like
Hmm.
if you learn how to make a website, post that I made this website, you're gonna get 0 likes, you're gonna get like 10 impressions, but it creates like a history. So when you do get likes, when you do get like stuff,
Hmm.
people scroll through and there's like more to be seen, like of your past. That's all that matters if you're starting because like you can't like have your first product be like first post be like super viral. So like just get like a scrollable history and like
Hmm.
join Twitter. Like I think everyone should join Twitter and like post every week. It's like
Interesting.
so useful.
Very interesting. Awesome. Take it before we leave. Drop your skincare. What is that? Like how? Like, is it because you drink a lot of
Skincare.
water? Yeah. What's up?
No, I mean, I just put like I recently started putting a lot of like sunscreen because like Netherlands is super hot. Like compared
Really?
to India, like India I could go out with like nothing. Like in Bangalore,
Got it.
like in Netherlands, like it's like so blaring. I just put sunscreen. That's it. Like I
Just
don't do
sunscreen.
anything else.
That's
Yeah,
that's that's great. Awesome. ठीक है. Thank you so much, Nishant, for your time. It's been great. I hope it's likewise.
yeah. Thanks. It was like
So I
super
see.
nice to talk. Like
You can say that now. Yes.
now I was saying this is like my first podcast and like it was super
Hmm.
nice. You as a host like
Yeah.
asked like interesting questions and
It's
stuff
also been one
and
of
like
my favorite podcasts because the thing is, I've never ever been nervous on any episode. Like I've been a little bit nervous in my first episode as well, like the initial ones. But this one I kind of was like in the initial part. And once we paused, like I told Nishant, ki, "Hey, I'm nervous," and he's like, "What? Is it something to do with me? Like, whatever? Am I not welcoming enough? Whatever?" And I was like, "No." But yeah, later on, once we sort of went, I think after the break, it was like pretty chill. Like the nervousness just went away.
yeah.
I don't know what that was, but I'm pretty sure it was just like whatever. I think it was lack of caffeine in my system. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah,
Let's hope you're
that's that.
caffeinated for the rest of.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
just
what
got
time is it for you,
caffeine.
but